Chronic went on too.
Rest.
Definitely did. He definitely did.
If he shows up next season with a Joey Badass.
Stopping in, we've been tapping in. We ain't never late. Dropping gems, we've been locking in. Now let's elevate. Took L's to win, running laps again. This is steady race. People's champ, boy, yeah, you know I've been the heavyweight. Stopping in, we've been tapping in. We ain't never late. Dropping gems, we've been locking in. Now let's elevate. Took L's to win, running laps again. This is steady race. People's champ, boy, yeah, you know I've been the heavyweight.
What?
Recording in progress.
Man, that was a quick turnaround.
How does it go?
Just like our boy G Ed over at Custom Merch. You can check him out on IG and Etsy. And if you bring up the Heavyweight Bros, you get 10% off because the more you spend,
The more you save. All you gotta do is bring us up.
what else you have to do?
You have to enter the promo code.
Enter the promo code Heavyweight Bros.
Spelled
HWBR. No, HW8BROS. Heavyweight Bros. See, I could do it.
Garvin. I think you know where your checks need to go to. I think we just figured it out right here, right now, like where the true support has been coming from. But welcome everybody that's joining us on part 2. We are about to hit the playground. We just did part 1. If you haven't checked it out, where we hit Popcorn Poppy, we watched 5 movies. It's a lot of movies that's on there, so make sure you get your doses on there. So like we're hitting the playground, so like we've kind of combined the Blitz and the Hardwood check-in. So like I don't know if there's a song anymore. Like, is there a playground song that you can think about?
There's a part in Aisha when they bring up the playground, but that's as far as I can get. At the playground, you know, I climbed up to the top and she touched my hand. That's when I fell in love, Aisha.
So Raisin's gonna do this song every time for our intro for the playground. Let us know in the comments what you think about our new song.
Aisha, so glad to meet you.
That's it.
Nah, see you in the schoolyard rolling with the teacher. Little shirt you wear was so fly. Turned around and you winked your eye, so I stepped to her like I knew her. The bell was cool, but I thought you had it, man.
And here we are. How do you feel now?
It's not us. That is another bad creation.
Is that who sings Aisha?
Yeah.
Oh.
ABC.
No, you're right. I just like now that you said that, I'm like, man,
it's really probably like what Michael Bivins or something.
I thought it was Immature or IMX, whatever they called themselves.
Wow.
That's what I thought it was.
They were probably not even born.
I don't know. You sure that's not Marcus Houston going Aisha?
It's ABC, and the other group that was on at that time was The Boys.
ABC, BBD. Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Chris Cross was like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Inside Out is wiggity, 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 whack. Yeah.
What that has to do with another bad creation, I don't know.
Because they was getting on, because they was wearing their stuff inside out, and Chris Cross was wearing their stuff backwards.
Is that what another bad creation was doing? Was wearing inside out clothes?
Yeah, because Inside Out is wiggity, 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 whack. They was getting at him. They was already...
Now I see where it's all coming together.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize.
It's like those videos of Lil Wayne where they be like, I missed the bar. Now you gotta get on video and be like, goated. All right, we digress.
I'm taking back this apology. But we're gonna hit the playground, and I know like we're having like some laughs, but it's like it's a pretty heavy subject to start off with.
Oh yes. Yes.
I don't want to mess up his name. Is it Devin Hamlin?
Damar
Hamlin.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the Monday Night Football game was postponed due to Damar Hamlin, a player for the Buffalo Bills, passing out on the field. He was needed to be resuscitated, or he was given compressions for like over 10 minutes. It is about to, well, it's technically, no, it's not even technically, it's still Wednesday, and we still don't have any word of like his condition. I don't know if you've heard anything.
Yeah, so they said he's stable, but he's still in ICU. They're running tests. They want to make sure that they're like crossing their T's and dotting their I's. I don't know if he's regained consciousness or not, or if he's still sedated, but they said like his vital signs are starting to get back to where
So they're getting back to normal. So there's progress.
There has been progress, but like I said, he's still not. I don't believe that he's still conscious yet, and I'm assuming that they still have him heavily sedated because he's in the ICU, and I think they're waiting to see how his body reacts before they take him like off of machines or off of sedation to to do their due diligence to make sure that he's coming out the other end in a safe manner.
I mean, regardless of the fact that it was just a scary event all the way around, because like I don't know about you, but like I watched it live, and it was like I didn't understand what was happening in the moment. Like it was just like he went down, and then it's just like you think it's like just another regular player injury, but then they come back, and it's like this is the point where I was like, oh snap! It's like they came back and they showed Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, like all these players are like bawling, crying, and I'm like, what is going on? And it's like it took them a minute to let us know. What was actually happening on the field. And it's like before long, it was 40 minutes before they decided to send the teams back to the locker rooms, and then they called it. But it was just like, in the moment, it was a very, very tough watch, especially not knowing what's going on. And I got to give a shout out to Booger McFarlane, Adam Schefter, and Lizzie Cohen?
I'm going to go with it.
All right. And it's like, because like I thought they did like a fantastic job of like, working through that, because like that's obviously a very tough thing to go through, because like we don't even know if this man is alive or dead like at the time, and it's like they're doing like trying to carry on as much as they can, but like while also showing their respect, and like we'll get into like later about like the people who kind of didn't show that same respect, but it's like you got to give a bit of a shout out to that crew for the way that they handled it. And not only the Buffalo Bills players, but like the Cincinnati Bengals understanding the gravity of this situation as well. Because it was like, it didn't take them very long to be like, no, like we understand, like that's one of your guys' brothers like on the field right now. And like it didn't look like either team was ready to continue that game in any way, shape, or form.
No, not at all. Not at all. And it's a really strenuous situation because it's like one of those things that shakes the world at an even time across the board. Like I didn't even see when it happened. Like I went to the fridge to get something to drink, but then all of a sudden, like you have the football games happening, commercials happening, all that stuff. The TV is radiating noise, and at one point it was just like really quiet in my house, and I'm like, did the cable get cut off? Like I know I paid my bill,
Possible.
right? So I look like into the I'm in the fridge and I look into the living room, and that's when I see people like around the field and it says game postponed, and I'm like, what did I miss in a matter of minutes? And that's when I seen everything that was going on, but they weren't playing the replay, which is
smart,
which is very smart, because they have made mistakes in the past where they continue to keep running the replay. Like family members aren't reliving this traumatic situation every time you replay that replay. I think a good movie reference to that is Jerry Maguire, when
Rod Tidwell
goes down and they just keep playing it, and they're like, why do they keep playing the replay? I don't know what's going on with my family member. So I think they did very well with that, and making sure that they didn't have like a whole bunch of video shooting at the field. They were keeping people updated about how his family was allowed to come down and how some of them left in the ambulance with him. It was that was a really tough situation. I feel like personally I haven't seen anything like this scary since like the Ryan Shazier situation.
That was a big one.
And the Kevin Everett situation, which a lot of people don't remember.
I don't even remember Kevin
He was a tight end from the Houston Texans. He was on special teams. He came up to make a tackle, and like he had like a spine collision, and he literally like was paralyzed at the field. I think this day like he is walking again, but it was a long journey, the same way it was for Ryan Shazier. Like for him to be walking, like I see him like broadcasting college games here and there.
Yeah.
Like those are all miracles, so we're hoping the same miracle for Damar and his family as well. I think the biggest impact is, of course, the brothers that he plays football with, the community of the NFL, but even more importantly, like the college kids who look up to them, the high school kids that look up to them, even younger kids who like are carefree playing football and now understanding that there is a risk. And it's just like it kind of makes you play the game at a different level sometimes, So I was really happy that they didn't force those gentlemen to go back out there and play football, and they made the right decision, even though,
if I'm being honest,
it's still going to be tough.
I think that they were trying to make them come back out and play football, and I think the Bengals players and the Bills players, and specifically the coaches, were like, we are not coming out. And that's what made them change. Because, like, you can tell, like, there was a moment before they even sent them to the locker rooms that, like, the refs are kind of being like, yo, you sure? Like, stuff like that or whatever.
Right.
And they were just like, no. Like, and they were like, all right, we're going to send you to the locker rooms, give you a couple minutes. And I want to say they were in there for about 20 minutes. And I'm pretty sure that the players were like, we're not going back out there.
Right. I think.
And the NFL just has to get behind it at that point in time.
I think I kind of got the same feeling when the referees came back out and the coaches addressed them and they went back into the tunnel with everybody else. And then you saw the white hat on the phone probably talking to his boss or the head referee or
they say that they're not
it was.
coming out.
Exactly. Like,
It's Monday Night Football.
What are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do if they decide not to come out? Like, you're going to dock their pay? Then you're going to have a big issue where, like, you took money from these guys who were, like, literally emotionally shattered for their brother that just went down on the field, and you want them to go back out here and clonk pads and all this other stuff again. Like it's just not going to happen. You probably risk the safety of every other player because they're not going to be able to go out there and compete the way that they would at such a high level, which ultimately leads to more injuries when you're trying to avoid something. Usually more often than not, it does happen. So it was the right decision not to continue to play that game.
Yeah, I just wonder, like, how much of that decision was the actual NFL's, because, like, I would say the NFL teams, I thought handled it very well. Like, I know you're not on Twitter like I am, but all of the NFL teams changed their icons to to Damar Hamlin's jersey.
Okay.
And it was like, pray for Damar. So, like, literally every single team changed it to that and stuff like that. Like, some of them put out statements regarding a bunch of stuff, and then I don't know if you saw, but, like, he had a children's charity where they donate toys. And I want to say, like, before the game had started, he had raised about, it was like $14,000 to like $13,000 or something like that. After the game, more than anybody was like Buffalo Bills fans donated, and apparently he's over like at $300-something million.
Wow.
Like, that's how many people donated, and it's like, it stinks that, like, this had to happen to this man for him to be able to,
honored.
gift the gift of Christmas. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how many kids now are going to have toys, like, because of this thing? But it's like a shame of, like, what had to happen in order for that to happen.
Right. I think the most frustrating thing about this is that the emotionally reactive decisions that human beings make in stressful situations like this. So, like, I know we have the whole Skip Bayless tweet.
We're going to get to that.
Yeah, we have the whole him and Shannon Sharp situation, but, like, and I wasn't going to get into that now because I know we're going to get into that, but, like, you even have a situation where people are, like, sending, like, reckless tweets and emails and stuff like that to T. Higgins because that is the gentleman that he tackled.
I was like, because we were getting tattooed, Bart Scott.
Right.
Came really rough on that.
Right. So it's just like the actual family members of T. Higgins were like blown away, but like why are you coming at this guy? Like, he's literally it wasn't intentional. Like, this is a sport that they play and that they love playing, and you're literally can ruin this kid's career, which is he's still early in, by making him feel like what happened to Damar is solely his fault. Like, there was no intention in this. You know what I mean? It's just like, it was no ill will in this.
Right.
But here we are as human beings wanting somebody to feel bad because we feel bad. Or some of y'all didn't even know who Damar was until this happened, and now you're trying to go hard at making T. Higgins feel terrible about himself because an accident happened on the field, which is crazy.
So, I mean, if we want, we can take, that time out for those of you that do pray. Like, send your prayers, like, his family's way, stuff like that, because, like, they really need it right now. But, like, we could transition to some of that stuff because, like, like, what we were talking about is, like, how great it was seeing the outpour of love and respect. But then, like, the flip side of that is, like, the people who were very insensitive to that. And, like, before we get into Skip, I guess we could talk about, like, you brought up, Bart Scott was on his show, and, like, he's talking about that, like, he pretty much said, like, almost verbatim that, like, it is T. Higgins' fault. It's like, why are we not looking at T. Higgins? And, like, why are we not doing this? And, like, you have to be more responsible than that when you have, like, that type of platform. Because it's just like you said, it's like, I did what I literally trained 365 days a year to do, and it's like a freak accident that quick happened. And, like, honestly, we still don't know the details of what actually happened.
Right.
Like, we don't know if, like, one of his ribs broke and punctured his lungs. We don't know if, like, he had some sort of respiratory issue already and that just reactivated. We don't even know if it's in his chest or, like, what happened. Like, we don't know. And it's like for you to put something out there like that is just not only irresponsible, like it's
for
dangerous.
the shock value.
It's dangerous
for the views, for the attention. Like that, I think that's weird when people do stuff like that, man. Like I was literally at my son's basketball game just the other day, and one of the players got injured, and like the whole crowd went silent because it was a very serious situation. And in the midst of that, two teenage girls almost get into a fight, like yelling at each other because somebody was laughing, thinking that they were laughing at the gentleman that was hurt when that's not really what was happening. And you try to find a reason to fight. Like this seemed like something that was already going on. Like it's a quiet gym. You trying to absorb all of the attention. You probably don't even know this kid, and now you're just trying to find a reason to make it about you. So that you'd be like, oh yeah, you see what happened at the game? Like, yeah, I seen you do something super inappropriate that took away from a moment where everybody was coming together to focus on the care and welfare of one person, and now here you are trying to focus on something negative and spin it to be something terrible. Like what are you getting out of this? What are you getting out of this? Like, it's terrible. It's terrible. And as human beings, we always never give up the opportunity to be terrible.
Jesus, damn.
And it sucks.
That's a nihilistic way to look at things.
It sucks. It is, but there's always one. Like that term, the internet is undefeated. Like, yeah, it's funny at some point, but at other times you got to say, like, it could be something pure and good and makes people happy, and there's always going to be that one person that's trying to tear it down or trying to blow it up or trying to say
I know this has
something negative.
nothing to do with anything.
Right.
But did you, like, it's funny that you bring it up, but, like, did you see the internet rally around, like, the popcorn guy?
No.
So, like, this guy went to the movie theaters to go get a popcorn, obviously. And while he's getting his popcorn, the movie theater guy is literally, like, he's spinning the popcorn.
I've seen him spinning it, yeah.
So you know what I'm talking about. And it's like, he's making it, he's throwing it up in the air. And it's like,
he's making it an experience.
But the guy who...
Because I would have ordered more popcorn if I saw it.
The guy who actually recorded it about the popcorn put it up there because he was roasting him. Like, he was just like, oh, look at this dude, like, doing too much and, like, da-da-da-da, or, like, all this other stuff or whatever. The internet did not play with that man. They were just like, first and foremost, this man is, like, he's a magician. He's this and that. And everybody came to that dude's side. And it's like, people have been asking, like, for his name and, like, all this other stuff or whatever. And I don't think it has gone out yet. Mm-hmm. But it's just like, that's my favorite part of the internet, where the internet, like, lets you know, but, like, that tomfoolery that you're doing, we're not doing that here.
Right.
We're not about to sit here and play this man who's, like, working his job, and, like, he's trying to make your experience great, but you being a jerk to him type of deal. And I know that we just got super off base on that. But I looked up, because I wanted to pull up Skip Bayless's actual tweet, the thing that actually set everything off. Mm-hmm. So this is it's literally, like, they're still doing compressions on Hamlin, like, at this time. Like, he's not even in the ambulance.
Mm-hmm. Wait, what time did he send the tweet out?
Like, yeah, at that time. Like, he's literally still on the field. Like, they're all still on the field, and he sends his tweet out. No doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of this game. But how? This late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome, which suddenly seems so irrelevant. And so, like...
So I've always been taught whenever you put but after something, it completely negates what you say at first.
Yeah.
And you don't try to put some turds in between bread and tell me that it's a good sandwich. Like,
unless you like turds.
I don't like turds. You eat pieces for breakfast? Like, no, I don't. And I'm all set with it. It's like, and that's what he tried to justify. It was like, but you see what my last statement was.
So then his following statement, because people jumped on him real quick. Mm-hmm. So then
he's refusing to remove the tweet.
Nothing is more important than that young man's health. That was the point of my last tweet. I'm sorry if that was misunderstood, but his health is all that matters. Again, everything else is irrelevant. I prayed for him and will continue to. First and foremost, and somebody pointed out real quick, it was like that young man has a name, number one. Mm-hmm. And then number two is that's not what you said. Is like nothing is more important than health. That's literally the opposite of what everything that you said.
Because if nothing else was more important, you wouldn't have spoke about the football game and then brought up something about the young man. Mm-hmm. If he is of the utmost important, that's what your tweet is about. And then football possibly comes after that, but it should not be in the same situation because the guys who are actually playing the game were not at all concerned with football in that moment. So if anything there is that you put out, which I think is even whack, that as soon as we got a man down, everybody wants to send a tweet, everybody wants to put up an Instagram post, like to be the first one to do it. Like let's care and see how he makes it out of this first, like before everybody's trying to blow up their Twitter page If he's that important, then that's what your tweet is about. It's not about the importance of this football game, because you're clearly saying that it doesn't matter. So why even bring it up?
Your literal tweet is that the outcome of this game is more important than the outcome of his medical condition in his life.
Right. It's
That's
like,
literally what you said.
yes, it's like, I hate to be the one to say it, so then don't say it. Then don't say it. But as soon as you say "but," it negates what you just said, because you're about to say something dumb, i.e. foot in mouth.
One of the aftermath of this tweet is the fact that Shannon Sharp did not show up for the episode, that Tuesday
And that
morning.
joint was looking dark in there.
Yeah, and it was like,
Dark in there, like,
instead of taking the opportunity to apologize and to really
He doubled down.
make things clear, he did. He doubled down.
He doubled down.
And like he stood in the stands and he's like refusing to take the tweet down and everything of that nature. This morning, Shannon did come on.
triple down.
Shannon did come on and was in the middle of giving like his opening monologue, saying why he didn't show up. He actually says that like the tweet wasn't the main reason he didn't show up. He said a lot of it was just a very triggering event for him, because he remembers when his brother Sterling Sharp went down and was literally paralyzed on the field for like quite some time before he was able to regain consciousness. He just very briefly was like, and then the tweet came out and was trying to move on, and instead Skip interrupted him and tripled down, like you said, on it. And it's like you can see the frustration.
Put your
on
glasses
Shannon's
back on.
There's been quite a few things that have been coming out recently, and like, listen, First Take set the world on fire, right? You know what I mean? It was just like, it was must-see TV, like at the time where it was, like, Stephen A. and Skip during Tebow time, Linsanity, during all that stuff or whatever. It's kind of run its course. And like, I thought that when Skip Bayless went to Fox Sports, that he was just going to kind of fizzle out. And like, obviously that didn't happen.
Shannon saved his career.
Like, Shannon kind of saved his career. I can't remember who was.
Then they brought the bootleg Skip on with Stephen A.
The Mad Dog?
Do just as much yelling as Stephen A. Like, I stopped watching the show. Like, I don't want to hear y'all yell.
Was it Max Kellerman? Max Kellerman was all right. I got some good Max Kellerman moments. I'm taking Iguodala over Steph Curry. You didn't like Max Kellerman?
Continue talking about Skip and Shannon.
First of all, Max Kellerman is an amazing boxing analysis. His basketball, that's where it goes straight to the toilet.
Get Max Keller out here like,
Anyways, I've never been a big person on, like, we got to cancel this person. We got to hop on our soapboxes and stuff like that. But to me, it's like he's just showing more of like what he's always been. And like, I've been off that train for like a long period of time. And like, I think the Fox Sports people, like, I don't know what direction that they want to go in it, but I think like them keeping him on air and keeping things going like says a lot more about them and the network than anything else. Because like, they also have Jason Whitlock, Emmanuel Acho, and
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
but I was just gonna say, like, just a bunch of people who have been very insensitive about a lot of things before and have said some really ignorant things. But it's like they continue to stand behind those people.
Even in that moment, Skip tried to put the ownership on Shannon when he was like, "I didn't even know you were going to bring this up. Why do I have to tell you what my opening monologue is about? If you don't feel some type of way about it, why are you mad that I'm briefly bringing it up?"
First of all, you wanted to make yourself the topic of conversation. Guess what? You the topic of conversation, bro.
Here you go. Then he was like, "Oh, well, I didn't know you were bringing this up, and the only person that has a problem with it is you." He was like, "That's not true, because if I was the only person that had a problem with it, then your boss wouldn't have had you come on here and make that statement the other day." So it was just like,
boss said it make me, he's like, just keep it moving.
Okay. All right. He was like, "Jen, go ahead."
Yeah.
Jen, go ahead, because you're not trying to hear it anyway. Because you want to argue every single thing, and you don't want to take no ownership in nothing. You think you know everything. So there's no sense in talking to you.
This is literally a week, 2 weeks off of him being disrespectful about Shannon talking about his career.
Yep.
Things of that nature, like in comparison to like
And this
Tom
is a
Brady.
guy who has not even played professional sports.
Yeah.
You have not even played.
Told him that he was
professional sports.
jealous of Tom Brady.
Yes.
Brother, you jealous of Tom Brady?
I mean, when Mark Cuban told that man, "Oh, so you think your opinion matters? Or no, you think people care what you say?"
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, for real. Like, it's just whack to me. It's whack to me.
I mean, that's all that's really to to be said about that. I don't watch the show anyways, so like this just gives me another reason not to watch it. Like I'm kind of like all set, and like I think like Skip's opinions should kind of like go by the wayside. I think it's time to get a new co-host in there. I'm sure Chris Carter's looking for another job like at this point in time. Just saying.
Go get Randy Moss.
Actually, yes. I laughed for a second. I'm always down. Every time Randy's on TV, I'm like, this dude. But he's on NFL Network.
Go get Marshawn Lynch.
Go get Marshawn and Shannon Sharp on this show. I'll tell you right now, I'll tune into that show.
Hey, when Buddy called me and told me I was coming on the show, I was like, hey, let's do it, fam. It's like, I would love it. I would
actually tune in. Like
I
that
would
was
love
the
it.
case.
Yes, I could see, like, Marshawn being like, yeah, I ain't a studio guy. I like to be in the field. Like, Shannon be like, I'm going to Marshawn in the field right now. It's like, hey, Shannon. It's
These
like,
brothers out here wilding.
word, I would love it.
I mean, it's a weird transition, but it's like now we have to move into like actual NFL stuff. Like there's not really much. Like I know the playoff pictures are starting to become like a little bit clearer. Like there's only certain places that are a little bit muddy. I know the Dolphins, they lost their third game in a row to the Patriots, which is like one of the teams that they could not lose to. So they lose to the Patriots, and now the Patriots are alive again and could possibly make the playoffs if the Dolphins lose to the Jets this week. But then I think the Jets would still be above the Patriots if that happens. It's a very weird mixture right now. And the Patriots have the Bills.
The biggest weirdos are the Raiders because they decided to not only not make the playoffs, but take themselves out of the C.J. Stroud sweepstakes.
What is the deal with this whole Derek Carr thing?
They benched him. They're probably going to try to trade him. I think the only team that I've heard is interested is the Texans and the Commanders, but I don't know what they're actually going to get for Derek. I don't know if those teams are willing to give up a first-round pick for Derek, or maybe a second and a third, or a third and a player. I mean, if you tell me you're going to give me Chase Young and a third-round pick,
There's a 0% chance of that happening.
of course, I know, but I'm just saying.
What if it's straight up Derek Carr for Chase Young?
I might pull the trigger on that.
I might pull the trigger.
Him and Max Crosby. Hey, bring Ohio State boy on over.
I think if they put Chase Young out there, the Raiders would have to give up another pick. But they already gave up all of them for Devontae Adams, so like there ain't nothing there to give.
Yeah.
But Devontae seems to sound like he's still super supportive of Derek Carr, like he wants him to be there. So like I'm wondering if the Raiders
He's
would
supposed
actually
to say that.
I'm wondering if the Raiders would actually risk pissing off Devontae Adams for it. How much of the Raiders' struggles this year is actually Derek Carr's fault?
He's thrown just as many touchdowns to other teams as he has to his own team.
But I'm saying like
I think he
is
has
the
a pick
offensive line
six
issue.
in the last 4 games.
Right, but what I'm saying is like, is that because there's holes elsewhere? Is it because the offensive line isn't?
The offense has been the most put together thing on the team. They have sacrificed defensive additions in order to make sure the offense is put together.
No, not the
Is the
offense.
line not as sturdy? Yes. But you also have stellar receivers to where the ball doesn't have to be in your hand that long.
But
I
then
wouldn't be mad if you dropped back and threw the ball 40 yards downfield just hoping Devontae goes and makes a play. You got Hunter Renfrow underneath. You have Darren Waller across the middle. Like, the kid Mac Hallen is a little shaky. He may drop passes, but he does get open because he's a fast guy. Then you have Josh Jacobs. Like, fam, I'm not trying to hear that.
I'm just saying that like Hunter Renfrow, you brought up, missed a ton of time this year.
Yes.
Darren Waller played 1 game this season.
Okay.
So that's like 2 of your 3 biggest targets are out. It's just Devontae Adams, and he's leading the league in touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like he's getting the ball to his one weapon, but everyone else is kind of like not there. And then it's like if you said the offensive line is shaky.
And that's a good point. But the problem is like in a lot of these close games, which the Raiders have lost, a lot of close games, it always is because of a Derek Carr interception or pick six. So if you don't have those moments, we win more games. So yes, Devontae's leading the league in touchdowns. He just broke the record for single season receiving yards by a Raider, which was held by Tim Brown, I believe, because he has like over 1,400 yards this season. It literally comes down to the last play, or the fourth quarter, or the third quarter, where you threw a pick six or threw an interception when you did not need to, and it kills the momentum, and we end up losing the game. Yes, that's on the quarterback. I am over the Derek Carr era, and I love Derek Carr because he helped turn the team around. But I tell everybody all the time, I feel like he has not been the same since he broke his leg.
Okay.
He has not been the same quarterback since he broke his leg, which was a dirty play, and nobody was held accountable for it, but it is what it is.
But so you're over the Derek Carr era. You're ready for the C.J. Stroud to begin. Even though we saw a mock draft this morning where he's going like third overall to like the Seahawks.
If we get C.J. Stroud, that is the first jersey I will buy.
You don't have a Raiders jersey?
Yeah, I have Khalil Mack's.
You do have Khalil Mack's.
That's the
It's
last
autographed.
jersey I bought. Yes, it's autographed.
Did you put it in a frame?
Not yet, no.
I was gonna say when we move to our new spot, you got to put it in the frame and put it in the background. That's gotta be a dope little set piece.
That'll be dope. I got that. I can do that.
But I'm trying to think if like there's anything else that was a little bit solidified. I know the Eagles without Jalen Hurts have lost 2 games in a row. Mm-hmm. And the Minshew madness is kind of worn off. Like he was really, really bad last game.
Yep.
But like to me, like that's what you kind of get with those type of quarterbacks, where it's like you get the boom and you get the bust. Mm-hmm. I think, like I saw a lot of Eagles fans talking about like how terrible Minshew was, and it's like, yo, you can't tell me he's not the worst quarterback. And I'm just like, I look around the league, and I think there's a bunch of other teams that would be okay with having Minshew as their starting quarterback, like a la the LA Rams, the Atlanta Falcons, the Houston Texans. Like you should count your
y'all
blessings.
could take Derek Carr.
I mean, apparently it's the whatchamacallit. Why are the Commanders trying to trade for Derek Carr? What is wrong with Heineke? Taylor Heineke is fine, bro.
I guess.
The problem is you guys brought Carson Wentz in, and then that brother started to look like Carson Wentz, and you guys acted surprised.
I mean, if the Falcons took Mariota, they should take Derek Carr.
But like aside from the playoff picture, the only other thing that like really matters that people are talking about now is the MVP race, and I think like the general consensus before was Jalen Hurts should win this MVP, and like. There's been a large portion of people now that are championing that, like, no, actually, it should be Patrick Mahomes. And now with Jalen Hurts' recent injuries, there are those that are like, see, when Jalen Hurts isn't on this team, like the Eagles lose. And then there's the people on the other side where it's like, well, Patrick Mahomes literally keeps his team in the game all the time. They're one of the top teams out there, and he doesn't miss games. Like, he should not be penalized for the fact that you missed games, so like that looks bad on me because like I didn't miss games, like because I'm here and I'm slinging, and I think he's leading the league in touchdown passes right now, touchdowns thrown. So it's like it depends on like how you want to look at it, and it's like he's doing that now without Tyreek Hill and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who, I mean, I feel like the Chiefs hate anyways. Juju really hasn't been doing anything that crazy. Mecole Hardman got hurt. It's pretty much been Juju, Travis Kelce, like Byron Pringle out there. And it's like they're one of the top teams in the AFC.
Pacheco.
Yeah, Pacheco is a running back. Or Jerick McKinnon apparently is like the greatest. He's like the fantasy football darling right now. Like,
Excuse me.
And like that's a big part of it is like he's getting these, like Jerick McKinnon is like a third string running back, and like he's turned him into like a, I want to say he's the leading running back receiving touchdown leader, if that makes sense. Yes, receiving touchdown leader.
Yeah, receiving, yes.
Because like I think Jamal Williams still has the rushing touchdown leader for running backs. Or did Derrick Henry?
Josh Jacobs?
Are you sure he's the rushing touchdown leader? Because there was a point where Jamal Williams had like 13, and like we were only in like week 10. But regardless of that fact, it's like, that seems to be a 2-man race right now. Like unless there's somebody else like you want to throw in.
Josh Jacobs with 12. Oh no. That might be yards.
Did you hear my question?
Say that again.
I said unless there's a third person that you want to put in this MVP battle, but like that seems to be like a 2-man race right now between Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts.
Yes.
All right, so like if that's all we had for football,
it's Jamal Williams with 15 touchdowns,
and he hasn't scored in like the last like 4 weeks.
Then you got Eckler, Derrick Henry, and Jalen Hurts with 13 rushing touchdowns. I don't know. And then Josh Jacobs, Zeke, and Nick Chubb with 12. Josh Jacobs leads the league with rushing yards with 1,600 rushing yards.
Who's in second?
Nick Chubb with 14, Derrick Henry with 14, and then Saquon with 13.
Okay.
Then Justin Fields with 11 because he's not allowed to throw the ball because he has toothpicks blocking for him.
Could be the same thing said for Derek Carr. I was kidding.
Then run.
Not only does Justin Fields have toothpicks blocking for him, he has snakes to throw it to. He's got no hands on that.
He's like, yo, catch the ball. Nah, fam.
You're tripping. You're tripping. Chill, fam. But if that's, unless you had another thing that you wanted to bring up for football, that's kind of it for the football portion of things. And it's like basketball.
Yes.
It kind of sucks, but it's like in the eye of the Hamlin injury. In the same night, Donovan Mitchell has a career night where he drops 71 points in an overtime game. They didn't go double; they just went one overtime, right?
One overtime. Yep.
71 points, and those Cleveland Cavaliers needed every single one of those 71 points.
To be honest with you,
he had 16 points at halftime.
Yes. To be honest with you, a lot of the high-scoring games have all been points that every team has needed. So I'll run through them right quick.
But literally the same night.
But Luka.
That's not the same night.
No. But Luka goes off for 60, 10, and 18 or something on the Knicks.
60-20.
60-20 and something crazy.
And 12, I think it was.
12 against the Knicks. And then goes to play San Antonio.
I didn't hear a lot from you that night.
Because I was flabbergasted. I don't know what you want me to say. I'm like,
I'm
tired of people having their career games against the Knicks. Like, this is the best game I ever had. Against who? The Knicks. What about you? The Knicks. Like, what about you? In the Garden. Like I forget who I was watching, but it was I think it might have been Gilbert Arenas, but he was like, people love playing in the Garden. He was like, of course. You know why? Because everybody loves playing there except the Knicks. You know why? Because when people come to town, the Knicks fans are rooting for this person. Like, oh, this is so amazing. Instead of booing this dude. Like, then the Knicks is out here having a terrible game, and you mad at them while you over here rooting for the dude that's beating them up. But that's here nor there. So he goes off for 60 on the Knicks, and then Pop says, we can beat the Mavs as long as we keep Luka under 50, and then they win by 2, and Luka has 51 points. He literally botched the last free throw just so the San Antonio Spurs could not get the ball again for a chance, and got the rebound, and the time went out. It's just like savviness at his best. The Warriors go in double overtime against the Hawks, and Klay is unconsciously going for 54. While Jordan Poole is doing his best impression of trying to lose the game for the Warriors as he goes.
Yo, Klay Thompson took like 39 shots.
Yes.
That's an insane number for Klay Thompson. Like, he usually doesn't shoot that much.
He had no choice. You know why? Because Jordan Poole was like 6 for 50 from the field. He was turning the ball over, taking crazy shots. Draymond shot like 3 threes that look crazy because you know how he shoots, and then he hits the 1 3 that they don't expect him to hit. It's like while he's doing the phantom pass that everybody's concerned with, like it's a bounce pass from a different angle. Like, come on, people, everything's not a conspiracy. Right. Either way, it's like he goes off for 54, and then across town, and B goes off for 55. They need every bit of that 55. I'm convinced nobody plays defense anymore.
You think that's what it is?
So every year, when guys are competing for the MVP or they're going off or they're going crazy, they're always saying, I can't wait till they play this team where they meet a stellar defense and a premier defender to see if they can keep up with this same performance. When's the last time you've heard of a premier defender or a team's crazy defense that holds people to a certain amount of points? And that same game that Klay had 54, Trey had like 30. Your boy John the Baptist had like 26. DeJounte Murray had like 22. Mind you, it's not just 22 points. Trae Young had like 14 assists. John the Baptist had like 18 rebounds. Looney won the game in double overtime with a tip back with 21 rebounds, fam. He had 21 chances to get offensive rebounds. Nobody wants to get a defensive board except John. Like, it literally makes no sense. Like, I understand high scores, big shots, it's super entertaining, but it's like, I pose you with a question. I would like to see if you answer it because they're very knowledgeable when it comes to sports. I respect that about you. That's why we do this, right?
Right.
Who's the last premier defender that you've heard about where they were like, I can't wait for this star scorer to play this defender and see what happens?
So you're asking me who's the defender? Mm-hmm. Like, player-wise, it's like, oh, do that against Kawhi. I guess like that would be like the premier guy.
And we know we haven't heard that in what, 3-4 years?
Yeah, but like, Marcus Smart, is like another one where it's like do that against Marcus Smart. I know you probably don't think so, but it's like they won't do that against Rudy Gobert type of deal, stuff like that. But like I think what we're seeing a lot of now, or I take it back. Who's the biggest person? You ain't doing that against Giannis. That's who the big person is. You're not doing it against Giannis.
Who also just had 50.
And he had a quiet 50.
And they needed all of that 50.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's like Giannis is the guy, but like what I think it is.
I still don't think he's a premier Does he defend well? Yes. But like
Giannis isn't a premier defender?
Shutting somebody down?
He's won Defensive Player of the Year and has been a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year like 3 times. He's not a good defender. He's like one of the top leaders in blocks.
I'm not
in
saying
opposing
he's not a
field
good
goal
defender.
position.
I'm just saying, like, all right, so if Luka's about to play the Bucks, are they saying can't wait to see how Giannis guards Luka?
Well, in a playoff series, yes, but like that's what I was getting ready to say.
Oh, okay,
is
go ahead.
like,
I'm sorry. My bad.
Is like what I think has changed, or like what I think what people are doing for the most part, is I think a lot of teams are figuring out now, or they're just thinking about it, where they're like, go ahead and go off. Because I think that used to be the thing is like, oh, like Luka's coming to town. Everything we're throwing everything that we can. We're throwing the kitchen sink at Luka. But a lot of these offensive players are so talented that even when you throw the kitchen sink at them, they still have 30. But now they have 30 and a bunch of assists, and guys like Dorian Finney-Smith is going off, or Tim Hardaway's going off. Where now they're just like, let Luka get 50.
Okay.
Let him get 60. We're gonna shut everybody down. Have some of them still resulted in losses? Yes. But it's like that just happens. Like these are close games. Like for the most part, that game plan is working. But then it's like, they just get the last basket that they need that we're talking about. So like I think that's what's been happening with the Luka squad. For mostly it's a lot of Luka. They're like, we'll let Luka drop however much he wants, but as long as the Mavs don't win, like who cares? They were doing that for like Giannis, for example. Remember they were all drawing up that box for Giannis, and they were doing that thing for like a while, and then it was like that stopped working, and then they were just kind of like, you know what? Let's let Giannis dribble and like do all this other stuff, because like at least when he's doing that, Chris Middleton's not getting hot.
Right.
Drew Holiday's not getting hot.
Right.
All these other people like aren't getting hot, and it's the same thing with like Embiid, because it's like, or James Harden, even where it's like we're gonna put one guy out there, we're gonna have like our best defender like try to hold them to as much as I can, but the team is focused on keeping everybody else under. And it's like, I think that's what we're seeing. And it's like, that works in the regular season where the games, yes, they matter, but they're not so important as, as the playoffs, where it's like, now we have a week to focus on 7 games against this one player. We can truly game plan on this one player, where it's probably a lot more easier to teach your team how to just guard. Like if we're gonna do this, like this is the game plan every week, where we let the star player go off. That's a very easy thing to practice. Versus like every, there's 82 games, and it's like every practice we have to like, all right, this is the game plan for Kevin Durant. All right, this is the game plan for this person. Where it's like, no, we're trying to figure out like what the basis of our defense look like. We're going through like we have like a 10-man rotation now instead of like a 6 to 7-man rotation when we get to the playoffs. So it's like, like we're trying to figure this part out, and I think that's why we're seeing such an explosion, where it's like a lot of those Donovan Mitchell baskets, like there weren't 2 defenders around him. Like he's kind of like blowing past one guy and he's putting it up, or like he's meeting the other person at the rim, but like that's the most anybody's doing is like they're showing, they're not really like going all the way out there.
Which is also a point to be made about having to play defense, because the league has become super favorable to the guy with the ball in his hand, because we have seen guys.
It always has been.
Yeah, we have seen guys making moves where like the carrying is getting out of hand.
Okay.
Like you done cuffed the ball. Now I'm closing out on what has to be a pass or a shot, and you doing another crossover move to get me in the air to go to the basket, or like that 0 step is looking less like a 0 step and more like 3 steps. Like if you give me 3-4 steps, I'm gonna get a layup every time as well.
I think that speaks to the athleticism of the players now, though. I think the players are just so fast that it's hard to keep track of that as much as it is. We get to see it because we watch the replays. We're watching it on like 4K cameras.
I'm seeing this travel and carry in real time.
But you're watching it on this 4K camera, and you're specifically zoned in on that. The refs on the floor are looking at that, but they're also looking at all these other things. And players are moving faster. There's a lot more screens. There's a lot more things that they have to pay attention to, where it's like that is a little bit like a Ja Morant. Like every time Ja Morant takes this step, I have to be on it. When it's like I have to, keep an eye on like all this other stuff like as
when
well.
he takes a step, his other hand is like this. Oh, I'm not on screen. I'll go this way. It's like this. So it's like, I know what's coming. You know what I mean? Like, I literally seen a kid do a move in the gym the other day, and everybody was like, oh, he did the move. You want to know what the move was? He came up, dribbled, picked the ball up with two hands, and when the kid closed out, he threw the ball to the floor and dribbled again and went and got a layup. I was like, fam, that's a double dribble. Nah, because before the ball touched his hand, he brought it through. I was like, yeah, but the ball's skimming his hand. As soon as both hands touch the ball, you're not allowed to dribble anymore. Nah, because you old school. You don't understand what he's doing. No, I know completely what he's doing. It's called double dribble or travel or whatever you want to call it. It's not legal. If I see them do this move in the league, it's over for defenders, man. Y'all might as well just go zone, box in one, whatever it's going to do, and just everybody box out and hope to get a rebound because it's gonna be crazy, bro. It's gonna be crazy. It's not entertaining to me anymore. It's like what are you supposed to do? It's like, Donovan went off for 71. I didn't get to watch the game, but I did hear it was crazy. But it's like it's tough to watch basketball where dudes are just allowed to do so much for the sake of the entertainment of the game. Like, it's going to be entertainment anyway because you have the top athletes playing at the highest level against other top athletes. It's going to be competitive. Like, you don't have to start getting loosey-goosey on the stuff that has made the league in order to keep it entertaining because it's just going to ruin the game.
I think you sound like the old man yelling at the sky right now.
That's fine.
Because, like, I also think it's also regular season. So, like, a lot of things aren't buttoned up and they're not tightened. But it's like you don't see a lot of this stuff in the playoffs.
But yeah, you're setting me up for failure. You're going to let me do this for 82 games and then not let me do it for 7?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Every single player knows, because they say it every single time, playoffs is a whole different animal.
Yes.
They understand. It's like anytime you do any big league thing, it's like, all right, we really need to taper this stuff up because they're going to call this stuff. The cameras are way more focused. They have the best refs at these games. Like, they're not as spread thin as like they are now. So it's like, that's just the way that it is, where it's like, yeah, we're trying to breeze through and like get through these regular season games like as much as possible. But it's like in the playoffs, like that stuff will be clamped down. I think the regular season in general is just tough to watch because there's so many games on. And it's like they're all on at the same time. And it's like sometimes the games that they pick are like the dookiest games to watch.
Or they're starting at like 10:30.
Well, yeah, that's the West Coast games.
Like, fam.
That's the whole point of it.
Not to digress right quick. You brought up referees. Young men, you out there, you looking for a gig. There is definitely a shortage of referees. All right, you never know what it may lead to. College games, D2, D3, D1, maybe in the league, but there's definitely a shortage of refs out there. There's a lot of refs that are older, that are retiring. The whole COVID impact has left referees not coming out to games. There's like a whole board of society. There's like, you literally can ask any referee at a high school game, like, hey, how do I become a ref? And they will show you how to do that. And I think it's a good opportunity for a lot of young men to not only find gainful employment, but to also be invested in the city, you know what I mean, that they live and work.
I don't know, man. I've seen a lot of these fans and these parents acting real wild trying to take out these refs. Like, lately, people have been getting real bold with coming after the refs. I've seen way too many videos, like, in the last year of, like, people going at refs.
So what I would suggest is to not do the AAU search. Because there's not enough police officers in the world to monitor 16 games that are happening simultaneously at the same time. But a high school game that's happening in a gym where there's a couple police officers, security guards, teachers, and faculty there is a little easier to manage. I would also suggest not jumping into football right away if it's not something that you haven't done regularly, because it's easy for a parent to hop the fence, and there's so many people always on the sideline at these games where it could be reckless. Get your feet wet doing something until you feel comfortable enough to own your dominance as a referee. But that comes with the job. You know what I mean?
Well,
but, yeah.
I don't know how much it pays to be a ref. That's what I'm saying. Is like, I don't know what's really worth it.
I mean, I think you can make a good little grip. I don't put nobody's business out there, but it's livable.
No, you don't need to put any.
It's livable wages, or something that you can do to put some gravy on the mashed potatoes if you already work in a job.
So, like, there's two ways we could go with this conversation, right?
Okay.
And I'm going to leave it up to you.
Okay.
Because it's like we are getting close to February.
Okay.
Which February is the halfway point of the NBA. Mm-hmm. So we're getting ready for the trade deadline to hit. Mm-hmm. And we're also getting ready for All-Stars and the All-Star weekend. Mm-hmm. And then the other part of it Actually, I think that's just the way to go because, like, I was gonna say, yeah, that's it. It's like kind of like the MVP slash All Star ladder, or who are the teams that should be hitting the trade deadline, and are they hitting it because they're trying to get rid of people, or are they hitting it because like they're trying to get people?
Sheesh, that's a very widespread question.
I know. Well, there's two of them. That's what I'm saying. I don't know which way you wanted to go.
Give me the first one again.
Is the trade deadline and like who should be buyers, who should be sellers, and then the MVP ladder and like who's looking like all stars.
All right. Well, the All Stars are everybody that's scoring 50 points a game. That's easy. All right. I'm not gonna front. People are gonna kill me for this, but I don't think LeBron's an All Star this year.
Okay.
I don't think a lot of Lakers are not All Stars this year.
Who makes it above him?
Above LeBron?
Yeah, that's the question.
In the West?
Yeah.
That is a good question. He probably still makes it. He probably still makes it.
Right.
And that's no hate towards LeBron.
I was saying because he's still putting up like I think like 38-8 right now or something like that.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I retract my previous statement. I apologize. If this man's averaging his age, that's out of control. That's out of control.
Not 38-8, like 38-8.
Oh no, that's still pretty decent though. For
It's
a
actually
38
very good. It's like
for a 38
second team all
This
NBA.
man's almost 40, bro.
Yeah.
So yeah, all right, my bad. I retract my previous statement.
Yeah,
But
40-point game the other day too.
with the reverse alley-oop dunk,
Yeah.
because Patrick Beverly keeps trying to throw the ball 9 feet in the air like this man's a creative player in 2K, but whatever. MVP, I'm going Luka. Until someone convinces me otherwise.
Okay.
My second and third would be Giannis and Embiid.
Go ahead. There's somebody that you left off, and I'm wondering if this person's going to hit the comments and bring up the fact that you purposely didn't say this one person.
Okay. And as far as like all-stars, like I don't think it's going to be hard to make some of these picks. I think those alternate picks are going to be tough because you do
starters
have some,
are usually they're usually clear who the starters are.
Like, so if I'm thinking of like some unsung heroes, I'll pick maybe like one from the East and one from the West. In the East, dang, that's tough.
Donovan Mitchell's got to be an all-star, right?
Yeah. I think that's an easy pick because he's turning the Cavs franchise around. Like he's been consistent all season. Like you would not pick Donovan Mitchell. But if I'm thinking like
Is he a starter?
ooh, so you got to think of 5 guys who would be ahead of him.
Pretty much guards, just in general. It's like, who are the guards in the East?
Tatum.
It's a forward. So, like, that's the guy who I was talking about.
Ooh.
That's the guy who I was talking about. Is like, you're not bringing up Tatum for MVP talk. Because I think Tatum was everybody's early pick for MVP until this recent Kevin Durant run.
I could put Tatum at 4th.
Just below Embiid. Below Embiid.
They're not in any order. I'm just saying 4th because I've already said 3 guys.
I'm just saying,
Tatum
like,
would be the
Jason
4th
Tatum's
guy.
putting up numbers that are very close to Luka, making it look easy. And the Celtics are, like, easily the number 1 team in the East.
I think they are the number 1 team in the
I think
East.
they're the number 1 team in the league.
You sure?
Who's above them? It's not the Warriors. It's not the Suns.
Nope, because
It's not
they
the
all
Mavericks.
been losing a lot of games.
It's not the Nuggets.
And Memphis has been losing too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might be right.
I think the top 3 teams in the East right now are the Celtics, Nets, Cavs, and then come the 76ers. And then Bucks are in there somewhere. As I mean, it's like Jason Tatum has been like a lot of people's early pick. And like watching Jason Tatum this year, he looks like he's on a different level.
Wait, so if he's playing forward, then Jaylen Brown's playing guard.
He's a guard / forward, yeah.
I mean, but he starts. Someone has to start at guard. I feel like Tatum starts at guard. He starts at the 3.
I'm pretty sure the starting lineup for that team is
Marcus Smart,
yep.
Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum,
Robert Williams just got back.
Robert Williams just got back, and
I don't think it's Horford though.
no, it's not Horford. It's the Robert Williams, not Robert Williams. The light skinned brother that looked like Arthur.
Derek White?
No,
The light skinned brother that looks like Arthur.
yes, meme Arthur. Oh man, Grant Williams.
He is not starting. He was starting when Robert Williams was hurt.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I'm about to look it up. But if I had to find a guard in the East that would start over Donovan Mitchell, the only person I would really consider is
Trae Young?
Trae Young. Ooh, I didn't think about that. Trae Young, Kyrie, but I don't think he has enough games
I was just saying,
to be considered.
You put Kyrie in there?
Right. So,
Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton,
I don't think I'm picking them over Donovan.
James Harden.
Okay, James.
Miami Heat.
Come on.
Jimmy Butler's a forward, so that would mean Kyle Lowry. It's not gonna be him. It's not gonna be Tyler Hero.
Nope. Raptors. Nobody from the Raptors.
Van Vliet.
Nope.
The only one that's looked anywhere near All-Star level has been Siakam, and they were gonna be one of the teams that I brought up for trading because like they're not putting in work like they used to. What were you supposed to be looking up?
Celtics starting lineup.
But like I mean that kind of transitions to like, you know, the second part anyway of just like who are the buyers and sellers of this trade market, because I think right now it's like teams are starting to figure out like whether they really got it or they don't got it.
This can't be right.
What is it, Derek White?
It is Derek White, but it also has Al Horford here.
Yeah, Al Horford was starting for quite some time while Robert Williams was injured.
But he's not injured now.
He literally like just came back.
All right.
But so like right now, like teams have to be kind of like looking at themselves and realizing like, yo, listen, I don't think the season's going the way that it's supposed to be going. Like now's probably the time to get rid of these assets, to put yourself in the Victor Wembanyama, Scoot Henderson sweepstakes. And one of those teams, I think, is the Chicago Bulls. I think they look awful. And I think if now
Charlotte Hornets.
I mean, Charlotte Hornets were just trash, so like they're just going to be there anyways. Is LaMelo an All-Star? Zach LaVine an All-Star?
DeMelo
DeMar
just got
DeRozan?
back because he was injured.
Yeah.
DeMar DeRozan, yes.
You think he's been an All-Star?
He's been balling.
That team's been dookie.
I mean, he's been balling.
I think it's about time for them to look for him to look elsewhere. To move him, move Vucevic, possibly move Zach LaVine like as well. Zach LaVine could be a hot New York Knick. I'll tell you that right now.
I would take Zach.
For what? Pumpkin.
Why you saying like
Because you know that's what you were about to say.
Oh, no. Listen, man, I can't trade Jules right now because he's giving us 30 a game for him. I don't know what's...
You don't think Zach LaVine give you 30 a game?
Yeah, when he's healthy. I mean, to walk in the building and catch the Anthony Davises, we won't see this man until next season.
How frustrating has Anthony Davis been?
Listen, I don't...
This is a man that you guys argued to put on that 75 list, and I told you to put that boy Dwight Howard in there instead. And you were giving me all the no. And like, what was my thing? I said the same thing for him and Kyrie Irving. What
Were
have
you waiting
they
for this
done?
moment?
Nope, this just came up right now.
I don't
What
believe you.
What have they done?
Oh, my goodness.
Don't get me wrong. Talent-wise, Anthony Davis, one of the greatest talents we've seen, talent-wise. But what has he done?
Look at Dwight going off. That's why I fought him on the bench. Oh, not to digress, but you know who's in the bottom of the East?
The Pistons.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm trying to get this Wembanyama.
Western Pistons, Hornets, like I said, Magic, Raptors, Wizards, and then the Bulls. Atlanta's 17.
And the thing is, the
20.
Bulls don't even have their top draft pick anymore because they gave it to the Magic in the Vucevic trade.
What?
Yeah, so they don't even have it no more.
Wow.
So you traded your potential top 5 pick this year.
Wow.
Wendell Carter, the pick that ended up being Franz Wagner, and whatchamacallit for Nikola Vucevic, who's looking awful.
Wow.
What about Tyrese Halliburton?
Celtics do have the best record, and the Bucks and the Nets all have better, and the Cavs all have better records than the Nuggets, which is the number 1 team in the West.
I did all that up here, and that was just me spitting hot fire.
The Knicks are in 6.
Okay. Damn, it smells like first round exit over here.
Killing my dreams.
Because like, who are you going to end up seeing? You're going to end up seeing either the Miami Heat or somebody like that, right?
If the playoffs started right now,
Yeah, like at the 6th seed. Oh, you're playing the Sixers? That's what you want to see is
We'll
Joel
play the
Embiid.
Sixers.
Joel Embiid trusting the process all over Mitchell
We
Robinson's
can
head.
beat the Sixers.
Can you?
Yes.
Houseway. Tell me.
We beat the Sixers this year already.
Yeah, when one of them was hurt.
I don't care. I don't care. A dub is a dub.
Okay. But, like, is R.J. Barrett checking James Harden? Is that what's going on? And Mitchell Robinson's guarding Joel Embiid?
Nah, Julius Randle's got to guard Embiid.
You sure that's what you want? Have you seen Julius Randle play defense?
I mean, we can't put Mitchell on him. He's not fast enough. He's going to have 5 fouls in 5 minutes.
First of all, you ain't rapped long enough. For me, you ain't strong enough.
Put Obi Toppin on.
So whatever it is you pumping on that you thinking that you Superman, I got the kryptonite. Get rid of Pumpkin and have Obi Toppin starting, bro. Do you wish now? All right, hold on.
Okay.
You were pretty anti Donovan Mitchell to the Knicks. Do you look at it now and wish that you had given up R.J. Barrett and Obi Toppin and got Donovan Mitchell?
They didn't want just those 2 players, though.
I'm asking you a simple question. Yes, there's more
It's not a real question because that wasn't the real offer.
Yes, there's more picks on top of it. But the essential, actual rotation players that were involved in this trade were R.J. Barrett, Obi Toppin, picks, and filler players. Do you now wish that you had taken that trade?
No.
Still.
Still.
Does Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Julius Randle don't sound a lot better than
I'm
that?
not going for this fool's gold. He looked the same way in the
Why
West.
do you keep... What just happened? You just flipped on Donovan Mitchell so crazy all of a sudden.
I didn't flip on him. I was never pro Donovan Mitchell.
So they dropped 71 points.
And I'm happy for him, but it doesn't fit for the Knicks to give up a bunch of players and picks for this guy that's going to come and score 70 a game, 50 a game, 40 a game, and go out in the first round.
I mean, you hate Rudy Gobert with a passion. Maybe it was Rudy Gobert's fault, not Donovan Mitchell's fault.
Good point.
Doesn't say because Donovan Mitchell is
What
like
team
is like
is Rudy Gobert on right now?
the Timberwolves.
Has that team gotten better since he got there?
Worse.
Has the Cavs gotten better since Donovan's gotten here?
Yeah, better.
What are we saying?
What are you saying?
That it was Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is like Donovan Mitchell's not the reason why the team is bad.
Oh, that's what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was getting at.
Okay.
So like I'm saying is like the New York Knicks would be better off with Donovan Mitchell. Why are you so attached to RJ Barrett and Obi Toppin? What have they done for you?
They loyal, fam.
They got drafted there. They haven't had a
They
chance.
loyal, fam. No,
They haven't had a chance to leave.
RJ re-signed.
Yeah, because he
got paid.
he got signed off.
Obi said he never wanted to play anywhere. Like, his dream was to play for the Knicks. He will re-sign.
Hey, he's gonna play on that pine. But like RJ Barrett signed that extension because his rookie contract was coming to an end, and it's like they just signed him ahead of time. They gave him the max. So yeah,
He could have not taken it.
he wouldn't have got the max anywhere else. And he's a young player, and he's gonna jump from making like $6 million a year to almost $40 million a year.
So you see, he stayed just for the money, huh?
Absolutely.
The Nets just
He's
lost
gonna-
to the Bulls.
He's gonna do the whatchamacallit. He's gonna do what Bradley Beal's getting ready to do. I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna get this bag,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm gonna pack my bags, and y'all gonna move me somewhere.
Bradley Beal ain't packed one bag yet.
You don't think he's getting ready to? You don't think the Washington Wizards see where this is going?
Does he have 2 more years on his contract?
He just signed the 5-year deal. Like he's got a
Right.
5-year. At one point, it reaches $60 million a year, bro.
All right, so how's he going anywhere? He's getting this bag.
Right now, he is. That's what I'm saying. It's like because you can't get traded your first year after signing.
How
a deal.
old is Bradley Beal, fam? I'm sorry, we are digressing.
Hold on. Like, why are you bringing it to his age? What does that matter?
Because if he has 3 years left on his contract, the age on which he becomes a free agent to leave the team,
He signed a
matters.
4-year max.
Okay, so he has 2 years left.
He's got 3 years left. He just signed his deal.
That's what I'm saying. If he has 3 years left, you're saying he signed a 5-year, and I said he has 3 years left. He was like, he signed a 4-year. I was like, okay, so it's 2 years. He's like, no, he signed 5 years.
No, he signed a 4-year deal.
Okay.
He's literally still in his first year, so he has all 4 of his years.
Okay, so
But
it's 3 years.
He can't be traded today. Or he can't be traded this year, or until like January 15th or something like
Okay,
that.
how old do you think Bradley Beal is?
I can't believe we're playing this game. Bradley Beal is 32 years old.
Wow, that was a great guess, but no, it's wrong. He's only 29, so he will be 32.
3 years, okay.
He will be 32 when he goes to test the market. You want a 32-year-old Bradley Beal?
No, because he's going to next year.
Uh-huh.
He's going to play the Donovan Mitchell and like all these other guys do, and just be like, I don't want to be here no more, and I want them to trade me.
Really? You think Bradley Beal's that type of dude?
100%, because they suck, bro. The Wizards suck.
They have always sucked.
Can you name me right now any of the draft picks the Wizards have had in the last 5 years? Any of them?
No.
That's what I'm saying. Is okay because not only do they
I can't
suck,
name their starting lineup, to be honest with you.
not only do they suck at drafting. So it's like they're not building and putting stuff around them.
They're top 3 players, and that's it.
Who's their top 3 players?
Bradley Beal, Kuzma, and Zingis. I don't know who those other 2 guys are.
Well, bro, like that's winning the ring.
No, of course not.
I think it's like Monte Morris and I forget who the forward is. I think it's like Kispert or something like that. Who's one of their lottery picks who's not panning out. What you call it? This is the last year of Porzingis' deal. He's headed out. Kuzma's probably going to be somebody that people look for in the trade market. So like he's probably going to be gone. And then what's left for Bradley Beal to play with? Why would he not all of a sudden throw a fit and be like, oh, like I want to go to Miami or like whatever he wants to do? He's gonna do some dumb. He's gonna do it. I would put. I don't know where I can place this bet. If I could put it in Vegas or like whatever, that within the next 2 years, Bradley Beal is gonna request a trade. Just like Trae Young apparently is requesting a trade or saying right now.
I
he's
heard about
unhappy.
that.
That's what I'm saying.
Just at the Warriors game, I heard about the Trae Young requested a trade, which is crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Is like you don't think that like. You can look around the league and
I don't know Bradley Beal's at.
What I'm saying is like you can look around the league and almost tell who the next guy's gonna be every single time. And it's like right now I'm putting a big pin on it.
Where's Trae Young?
Bradley Beal is that guy. The question is, what is the value of Trae Young? That's the question. Is like who's willing to pay the price?
I would take
to get
Trae
him?
Young in the Knicks jersey.
Of course you would.
But I'm not.
Because he loves playing in the Garden.
Exactly.
So you're going to have Jalen Brunson and Trae Young in the backcourt?
Oh, yeah, we can't do that, huh?
Yeah, they're dropping 200 a game on y'all.
Right. That's like the total height of like 5'4".
It's gross. Disgusting.
Oh, man. I mean, it might work. But you would have to give up a lot to get Trae.
Yeah, no duh. That's my thing. Is like who even has the pieces to get that from them?
Nobody. That's crazy. I think that might be what our next topic is: trade talks. Because it was
literally our topic right now.
I know, but like that rabbit hole can go so far once you start considering the guys who like the pieces that people would have to get up to get certain people.
How about this?
Okay.
Next week we'll do a top 5.
Okay.
And then we're each gonna do our own top 5 rankings.
Okay.
Of disgruntled stars and who we think is gonna be the next star to request a trade.
Interact with us. Put something in the comments. Throw a name in the comments that you were like, this person's probably gonna want to trade.
So you brought up this team, and I know we're trying to sign off, but I have to bring this up.
Yeah.
You brought up the team.
Okay.
And we're talking about trade time.
Mm-hmm.
Karl Anthony Towns might be out there.
For if the Knicks could trade for Karl Anthony Towns?
I'm not saying the Knicks. I'm just saying Karl Anthony Towns might be out there. If Karl Anthony Towns is out there, like who's saying no to like that type of trade? Like
nobody.
Like,
if you do, you are an idiot. The Lakers will give up Anthony Davis and whoever else to get Cat over there in LA.
They would.
I would give up Mitchell and Pumpkin. And
Donovan Mitchell?
Huh?
Who's Mitchell?
Mitchell Robinson. I would give up Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle, and some picks. Throw you an Obi Toppin too. I would throw you an Obi Toppin too.
I feel like this is what you just did.
What?
We just went
2K trade?
We just went trick or treating. And you saw that I have not only a king size Reese's bar in my hand. You went, bro, I need that king size. I said, I'll give you these Smarties. I'll give you these strawberry candies that don't have a name. I will give you
this candy corn.
I will give you this. What are they? Skis? Like the ones, the little circle color balls. Like or scooters. Is that what they're called? I'll give you these Whoppers, and it's like, yo, bro, like I'll give you all that, and it's like I don't want none of that shit. Like, what are you talking about? It's like I'm just going to go home with until someone's like, yo, man, I got 2 Snickers, a Twizzler, a Mr. Goodbar, and a Butterfinger, and I'm like, thank you.
It's like
that's
when
what
you
I'm
tell your
looking
little cousin, do you want these 3 singles? Or this one $5 bill, because 3 is more than 1.
You used to do that? You were an evil man.
No.
One of the best parts about growing up in my house is like DJ has a very different taste than I have like in anything.
Mm-hmm.
So like we'd be like at dinner and he'd be like, "Yo, I'll give you a piece of my I'll give you one of my fried chickens for some of your broccoli," and I'd be like, "Oh no, you gotta give me two pieces of chicken."
Not my broccoli.
And I'm like, "You need to give me 2 pieces of chicken if you want this
Not
broccoli."
my broccoli.
And he'd be like, "Throw in the roll, and you got to deal." I'm like, "Here you go." It's really twisting my arm.
Type of ponderosa deal.
But like one of the big things was like we had such a differentiating taste for candies.
Right.
And it's like his number one candy was Twizzlers. Mm-hmm. And I like Twizzlers.
I like Twizzlers,
Don't get me
but it's
wrong,
like
I like
it's
Twizzlers.
not my number.
But like he's just like, "Yo, you got any Twizzlers in there?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess I could take your Reese's or Snickers for this Twizzler." And he'd be like, "You come on, man. What if I give you a Reese's and a Snickers and you give me a Twizzler?" I'm like, "Fine. I'll tell you what." And I'll throw in the Smarties. And he's like, "Fuck yeah, I love Smarties." He loves Smarties, bro. Like it was like, and like I used to sit there and I used to look at my candy haul and I'm like, "This brother's wilding."
Take this Baltic Ave.
There's a reason one of us is the whale now. It's like because of this brother skimming his plate onto mine.
Oh man, that's hilarious. All right, so yeah, get in the comments. Let us know any players that you would suggestively want to put out there for us to do potential disgruntled trade options for
We'll
other
figure
teams.
out how about like top 5 disgruntled stars.
Yeah. But other than
Who's
that,
the next to request a trade? I think I saw that Donovan Mitchell thing coming a mile away.
oh yeah,
That's what I'm saying. It's like he was one.
I knew he was gone as soon as Rudy gave him COVID.
But that's what I mean. It's like I feel like you can see a lot of these guys come. Like James Harden, I saw that coming. Donovan Mitchell, like you see that coming. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I feel like John Collins has been getting ready to get traded for like the last 5 seasons, and he's still on the Hawks. But it's like there's a lot of people. What I'm saying is like
That would be so crazy after they got DeJounte Murray to come there and then they just gonna skate on him like that.
the team's pretty butt. What are they, 7th or 8th in the East right now? I think they're
like,
outside.
They're like 8th. I think they're like 8th.
They should be better. That's what I'm saying.
They should.
But anyways, we'll have all that next time. So make sure you guys hit the comments. Until then, we will see you next week for episode 71. Love, peace, chicken grease. Prayers up for Damar Hamlin.